Have you ever wondered why the people who hold everything together are usually the first ones who quietly fall apart? They don't miss deadlines, they don't complain, they're often the ones being praised. And somehow, you actually already know which version of you we're talking about. So here's the thing about burnout. It rarely looks the way the word actually sounds. For a lot of high performers, it doesn't arrive as a collapse. It arrives as a quiet automation, a kind of flatness underneath your effort. And research has mapped what this version of burnout looks like, even when the outside still looks completely fine. So here's where it gets specific. Number 1. In organizational psychology, there's a concept called the overextended profile. Research by Christina Maslach and Leiter, published in 2016, identified 5 different patterns inside what most of us just call burnout. And one of those patterns, the overextended one, looks like this. High exhaustion, but you're still relatively engaged, still relatively effective, still pretty cynicism-resistant, which, honestly, is the part nobody warns you about. You don't fit the picture of someone burning out. You're not bitter or checked out. You're just kind of quietly emptied. And because you don't match the stereotype, nobody flags it, including you. You think the word burnout means you'll know it when you feel it. Truthfully, the people who keep everything running are usually the ones running on empty first. It's not that you're not burning out, it's that you're burning out in a shape that looks like dedication. Number 2, your exhaustion has learned how to look like competence. When you've been good at your job for a long time, a lot of the work has already moved into autopilot. You don't need fresh energy to send the email, run the meeting, fix the slide. Your skills run on a kind of muscle memory. So when the inside of you starts thinning out, the outside keeps producing on schedule. You hit the deadline, the deck looks fine, the meeting ends on time. From the outside, you've delivered. From the inside, you've spent the day doing something you couldn't quite feel. And the more competent you are, kind of paradoxically, the longer this gap can hide. Honestly, this is the part nobody warns the steady ones about. The praise you keep getting isn't proof you're okay. It's proof your output is still arriving on time. That's a much bigger gap than it sounds. Number 3, the stress cycle isn't closing. Emily and Amelia Nagoski, in their 2019 book on burnout, made a distinction that quietly changes how a lot of this lands. They separate the stressor, which is the email, the meeting, the deadline, from the stress, which is the physiological response inside your body. You can remove the stressor by finishing the task. The stress response doesn't automatically leave with it. It needs to actually complete. And for a lot of high performers, it never really does. You finish the project on Friday. You don't move your body. You don't talk it out. You don't really exhale. The stressor is gone. The cortisol? Well, it isn't. So you go into the weekend carrying yesterday's nervous system, and you wake up Monday wondering why 2 days off didn't help. It's not that rest doesn't work. It's that rest you didn't finish doesn't actually count. Number 4, your identity has quietly fused with the role. When you're someone who gets things done, the doing eventually starts answering the question of who you are. You stop having hobbies, then opinions outside of work. The thing you do becomes the thing you are. And here's the part most of us were never given language for. When the work is what you are, you can't pause without dissolving a little. So you don't pause. You keep delivering, kind of, because stopping feels like becoming someone you don't recognize anymore. And the strange part is, it doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like maturity, like the thing adults are supposed to do. And nobody around you flags it because the version of you they meet is still functioning, possibly thriving by their measures. The damage is happening underneath, in places work doesn't ever see. It's worth asking whether the praise you've been getting is actually doing you any favors. The high performer they keep promoting isn't necessarily you. It's the version of you that learned which parts to hide. Most of us were never taught that competence can become a hiding place. It's not arrogance to notice this. It's accuracy. Here's what this often looks like in an actual week. Someone tells you you're so on top of things, and you feel almost nothing. You answer Slack at 11 p.m., and you've called it staying on top of things, or discipline, or whatever feels less alarming. You sit on the couch Saturday and can't quite remember what Wednesday was about. The week ran, you weren't fully in it. Or you were, but only the version of you that knows how to look engaged. Honestly, the most exhausted version of you is often the one nobody at work can see, including sometimes you. So here's the question worth sitting with. Not, am I burned out yet, but am I starting to recognize this version of me? Because this kind of burnout doesn't crash in. It walks in slowly and sits down. And by the time you're calling yourself unbothered, it's been settling in for a while. Rest. Rest is unfashionable. Rest is also not negotiable. Try noticing it this week. Notice when the praise feels hollow. Notice when the output arrives, but you didn't. Notice what comes back when you finally let your body finish the cycle. If any of this sounded like you, you're not falling behind. You're not failing the job. You're just finally paying attention to a kind of tired that's been there for a while. Some of you have been carrying this for years. Others noticed it tonight. Either way, we'll sit with this one together next time.